our second game tonight, the Luxembourg Brewers will take on the St. Benedict Saints. The winner gets the Ada Athletics in the next game in this event. As they get the announcement now of the starting lineups.
The starting lineup for the Richmond Royals. Leading off, pitcher number 17, Brady Clare.
As the Richmond Royals starting lineup is introduced, they have a pitcher hitting leadoff, which you would see only in town ball. Even Shohei Ohtani doesn't bat leadoff. I mean, he does everything else, but I don't think he bats leadoff. This will be a fun one here to watch. We did the Class A tournament last weekend, and such a good crowd out here today. Just a tremendous afternoon. People here, people everywhere, people enjoying the experience and getting outside, and it's just a glorious day for baseball at a tremendous facility here in Waconia.
Number 5, playing left field. Number 7, Chase Alshire, playing first base today. Being designated hit for today is a second baseman, number 13, Kyle Buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Richmond Royals.
And just finished the introduction of the Richmond Royals. Let's catch the Dumont Saints.
And we'll move to the home team occupying the first base dugout this afternoon, the Dumont Saints on Region 9. The substitutes this afternoon, number 3, Eli Larson. Number 20, Nathan Johnson. Number 23, Caden Spilby. And your drafted players, number 3, Evan Benson from Rosen. Number 17, Todd Wolfel, draftee from Chicago. And number 25, Brian Toll, draftee from Clinton. The starting lineup today for the Dumont Saints. Leading off, manager number 24, playing shortstop, James Paul. Batting second, number 22, pitching, Jordan Bruce. Batting third in left field, playing second base. Batting third, number 7, playing second base, Matt Thielen. Batting fourth, number 14, playing center field, Pat Kuzats. Batting fifth, number 19, designated hitter, Trent Bestland. Batting sixth, number 8, playing first base, Eric Beal. Batting seventh, number 32, doing the catching today, Paul Zock. Batting eighth, number 10, playing right field, Jake Ulrich. And batting ninth, your pitcher, number 1, left fielder, Carson Mordahl. Number 4, Mason Lampy, playing third base. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your Dumont Saints. There will be no anthem today. Ladies and gentlemen, let's play ball.
All right, they break the huddle at home plate here, and we'll be ready for baseball momentarily. Richmond, the visiting team for this game, they're in the dark blue, not unlike the Kansas City Royals, except not quite powder blue, but still blue nonetheless, and the Dumont Saints bearing a shocking resemblance to the old Houston Astros. As we ready to get underway here. Dimensions here at Lions Field, 325 down the lines, 370 to the alleys, 380 to straightaway center field as the Dumont Saints take the field. And Jordan Roos ready to take his warm-up tosses. Big right-hander from Wheaton, Minnesota. Most everybody on this Dumont team does hail from Wheaton. And the small-town atmosphere, the small-town romance of it, of course, is really profound, and it will be fun to watch these two teams go at it. Again, Clare, Thielen, and Gherkin, the top three due to the plate for the Richmond Royals as we get underway. It is 70 degrees here in Waconia, and we are under a covered grandstand anyway, so it wouldn't matter if it wasn't, but still, it's perfect. And after last night's rain, it was certainly nice to see the sun come out today and see some of that humidity wind up going away. So it's just a wonderful afternoon and evening to sit and watch the national pastime as Clare completes, or as Roos, completes his warm-up tosses, and Zach throws down to second base, so we are ready to get underway. Brady Clare, one pitcher faces the other to start the ball game. Clare, a left-handed batter. And they do have him played to pull in the outfield slightly. And we are ready to go. First pitch coming at 4:37, and it is swung on and looped foul down the third base line for one strike to Clare. Yeah, Thielen waits in the on-deck circle. Right-hander ready. Open stance at the plate for Clare. Hits out of a crouch. Here's the one strike. Breaking ball is grounded wide to third and into left for a base hit. So Clare starts off with a single. And we are underway as Richmond gets the leadoff runner aboard. And here's Dalton Thielen, the designated hitter. Right-handed batter. Again and again, they've got him shaded over towards right a step or two. In center field again, an open stance at the plate. This one's wide open. Roos ready, and here's the pitch. Swung on, and that's lined down the third base line, and that's foul for strike one. And fastball up, and he pulled it, but stuck it foul. Roos ready. And the one-strike pitch. That's up high with a fastball for ball one. Lamper, the third baseman, is playing on the edge of the grass at third base. See if they play small ball. Last time he was victimized by the positioning as a hard ground ball that couldn't get to it due to playing shallow. Here's the 1-1. Breaking pitch inside. Runner goes. Throw to second base is not in time. It's a stolen base for Clare, and Richmond has a runner in scoring position. Pitch was ball two to Dalton Thielen, and it'll be 2-1. The number two man in the order here in the first inning. So Roos trying to record an out here, but now faces a runner in scoring position. Now looks in. Here's a 2-1. Breaking ball is inside, and it's 3-1. So a hitter's count here for Thielen. As Clare gets his lead from second base. 3-1. Fastball elevated, had him swinging, and it's 3-2. To Dalton Thielen. Gherkin waits on deck, and now coming in. Deal at first base is on the edge of the grass on the right side. Lamper even with the bag at third. Here's the 3-2, and that's inside, and he walked him. So a 6-pitch walk, and that's got runners at first and second with nobody out here in the top of the first for Trent Gherkin.
Batting third in the top of the first for Richmond, number 20, right fielder Trent Gherkin.
So the Dumont Saints in a little bit of trouble here as Richmond has a first inning rally going. 2 on, nobody out. Gherkin ready. Outside with a fastball from Roos, and it's ball one. Corner's up. Middle infield, a double play depth, and here's a fastball that is called in, and it's 2-0. Tough pitch for Roos not to get here. Now he's got a real hitter's count, 2 balls and no strikes, 2 on here in the top half of the first inning. He sets and works. Fastball, and that is high, and it's 3-0. Mason Primus is on deck. Now Roos ready. Here's a 3-0. Fastball is called strike on the inside corner, 3-1. The obligatory 3-0 fastball, and it's now 3 balls and a strike. Gurdon taking all the way. 3-1. That's fouled straight back to the screen, and again the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the number 3 man, the right fielder for the Richmond Royals. Now Lamper even with the bag at third base. Here is the 3-2 delivery, and it's outside. He walks him, and the bases are loaded with nobody out here in the first inning for the cleanup hitter, Mason Primus. Second walk by Jordan Roos.
Number 23, center fielder, Mason Primus.
Mason Primus coming up with the bases full of Richmond Royals here in the top half of the first inning. Roos searching for the plate. Here's the pitch. That fastball is where? Must have been high. 1 ball and no strikes. They had plenty of plate, and must have been a little upstairs. Here's Roos on the 1-0. And there's a called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, they even out eventually, I suppose. 1 ball and 1 strike now to the cleanup man. Nobody out here in the first, and the base is full. Breaking pitch hangs outside, and it's 2-1. So Primus, I would expect, would have the green light if he wants it here. 2 balls and a strike. Now the pitch. Swung on and grounded back to the mound under the pitcher's glove. Goes to second base. They go to second for 1, and they get the force, so it's a fielder's choice. Primus will drive in a run. Claire scores, and it's 1-0 Richmond. Roos angry at himself there. If he'd made that ball cleanly, they had a chance at a 1-2-3 double play. Primus reaches on a fielder's choice. Gherkin is forced 4-6 for the first out. Thielen takes third, and here's Cole Schmitz. So runners at the corners now with 1 out and a run in the first inning for Richmond. Roos ready. A swing and a miss. He pulled the string there, and he had Schmitz out in front. But a catcher with a chance to drive in another run here. First and third, 1 out in the top half of the first inning. Logan Ailshire, the shortstop, waits on deck for Richmond. Rue is ready, and here's the pitch. That's through there for a strike, and it's 2 strikes to Schmitz. As Roos trying to settle down here in the first. Here's the pitch, breaking ball, got him looking on the inside corner, and Schmitz is a 3-pitch called strikeout victim. A second out, first strikeout for Roos, and that'll bring up Logan Ailshire, the shortstop.
Number 24, shortstop for Richmond.
So the base is loaded and nobody out in the top of the first. Roos is 1 out away from getting off the field relatively unscathed. Left-handed batter, Logan Ailshire. Played to pull again in center field. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball is outside. Gets away from Zach, but not far enough for an advancement. 1 ball to Logan Ailshire. Primus gets his lead from first. Thielen a short lead in foul ground, a third base side. And here's a pitch swung on and looped towards center field. Coming over is Kozitz, and it's going to drop for a base hit. And a run will score. Thielen scores. Primus checks in at second base, and it's 2-0. RBI single for Aylshire. So first and second and 2 out here in the top of the first for Cameron Miller, the third baseman. Another left-handed batter here for Richmond. First pitch, a fastball over for a strike to Miller. Dusty Adams waiting on deck in case Cameron Miller can keep it going. He too has a runner in scoring position, first and second with 2 down. Here's the pitch. Followed straight back off the end of the bat to the screen. 2 strikes to Miller. The 2 walks back-to-back to Thielen and Gherkin here in the top of the first inning certainly haven't helped Ruseni. Now, time called at the plate, and Miller steps out. Now back in, left-handed batter, slightly open stance at the plate. And they give him a pretty substantial gap in left center field. They're playing shallow and left as well. Here's a pitch swung on and rolled to the right side. Thielen can't find the handle, and it's going to be an error. And Miller reaches, and that will prolong the inning. And it will reload the bases for Dusty Adams, the left fielder. Another left-handed batter, and really no other way to score that as Thielen hit right at him and right between the wickets. So bases loaded for Adams. Bruce ready, and here's the pitch. Swung on that is lined right at the third baseman, Lamper, who makes the catch. They retire Adams in for the third out and the side, but Richmond scores 2 runs on 2 hits. There was 1 error, and they leave the bases loaded. 1/2 inning, Richmond 2. Dumont coming to the plate here on Prep Spotlight TV.
Nobody does high school sports like PrepSpotlight.tv. Your home for Minnesota State tournament action is also where you can find the best weekly action during the regular season in 2021. We make it easy to be a high school sports fan at PrepSpotlight.tv.
Back at Lions Field, in Waconia. It's 2-0 as we go to the bottom half of the first inning. Richmond coming up with 2 in the top half of the frame. They loaded the bases twice and now turn the ball over to left-handed pitcher Brady Clare, who will face Paul, Jordan Ross, and Thielen to start things off in the home half of the first inning. The Saints a bit rocky in the field in the top half. See if they can settle down as the game progresses. And it's the chance for the home team to get back in it. And again, now you have a pitcher hitting in the number 2 hole for this team. So it's, again, stuff you don't always see when you watch this game. And Clare, the left-handed pitcher, a lot of lefties on this Richmond team. Brady Clare from Richmond. Most of these players from Richmond, Cold Spring, Waite Park, those areas surrounding. Now leading off for the Saints, James Paul, the shortstop. Right-handed batter will check in. And they will shade him around towards right center a little bit as well. So there's a gap in left center for him to shoot at. Claire ready, and here is the first pitch. It's a fastball right through there for a strike. And Roos needed 26 pitches to get out of the first inning for the Saints. Now ready, here's the 0-1 fastball, and that is laced towards the gap in left center, right what they left him, and it's going to roll to the fence. Paul around first, and he will cruise into second with a stand-up double to lead off the bottom half of the first inning. They gave him that gap, and he jumped on it. Here's Jordan Roos, the pitcher, trying to help himself here. Runner in scoring position, nobody out in the bottom half of the first inning. And that'll bring Miller, the third baseman, in on the edge of the grass for Richmond. And here's the pitch. Fastball low and in. Good stop there by Schmitz, the catcher. And it's 1 ball, no strikes to Roos. Matt Thielen, the second baseman on deck, the number 3 man for Dumont. Claire ready. And the pitch. Fastball is on the corner for strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Of course, strike 1 is universally regarded as the best pitch in baseball, if you happen to be a pitcher. There's the 1-1. Swung on, and that is lined into left center field for a base hit for Roos. Here's Paul rounding third, and he will score standing up. And Dumont is on the board in the bottom of the first inning. So Roos, a couple of solidly hit balls off Claire. And I'll bring up Matt Thielen, the second baseman. Two-one, bottom half of the first inning. Claire ready, lefty against lefty. Fastball on the corner for strike 1. But nothing cheap about either of those hits, that's for sure. Paul hit one to the 370 sign in the left center field gap, and Roos scalded one to center field. Here's a 1-1. Just outside to Thielen. That is, it was 0-1, excuse me. Umpire correcting the scoreboard. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Kusatz is on deck. Here comes the 1-1. Fastball taken low by Thielen, 2-1. They don't see Roos as a huge threat, nor do they consider Thielen a threat to bunt, as the third baseman Miller playing back. And here's the 2-1 pitch. Fastball, thought about it and held up. 3-1. See if they turn him loose here. First 2 batters have reached in the bottom half of the first inning. Claire ready, and here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled straight back by Thielen. The string is out, 3 balls and 2 strikes. There's an unauthorized cloud down the left field line here. It's the only one I can see on this wonderful day. Here's a 3-2 pitch now to Thielen. Fastball swung on and popped straight up the chute, and it's going to make it over the roof. And the count rides. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Claire looks in for the sign from Schmitz. Bruce gets his lead. Here's the 3-2. Swung on and tapped, foul at the plate. 7th pitch of the appearance here for Matt Thielen. And Dumont has answered back here in the bottom half of the inning. Claire ready. 3-2. Got him looking with a beautiful breaking ball in the inside corner. And Thielen is a strikeout victim. That's the first out here in the bottom half of the first. And it'll bring up Kusatz, the center fielder.
Number 14, center fielder, Pat Kusatz.
Will be another left-handed batter. Thielen, a strikeout victim. Obviously the first for Claire. One out here in the bottom half of the first. Left-hander ready. And he paints the corner again with a fastball. Strike one to Kusatz. Trent Bestlin, the designated hitter, is on deck. Roos at first, one out. Claire from the belt. Pretty good lead for Roos. Here's a pitch inside. Did it clip him? No. Somehow it missed him. And looked like it was going to hit him right between the 1 and the 4. And it somehow avoided entirely. And we'll get a 1-1 pitch coming here as Kusatz got to lean back. Claire ready. There he comes. That's up and in. And it's 2-1. Just a real nice crowd here at Lions this afternoon. Stands down the third base side, like almost full. First base side, the same. Those are the ones out in the sun. There's a 2-1. Fastball up. 3-1 to Kusatz.
Come on now. Make something happen. Double play.
Bruce gets his lead from first. And 3-1. Here's the pitch. Swung on, jam shot, popped him up on the right side. Play for Schmitz. Dives, can't get there. In fact, he jammed him probably a little too well, and the resulting squibber, Schmitz couldn't get out of his stance and get over there in time to make the play. It falls foul. 3-2 to Kusatz. He took that one right off his fists, and Schmitz made a great attempt but couldn't get there. 3-2. Here comes set. 3-2. Fastball. That's ripped into right field for a base hit. Birkin over to play it, and Roos will stop at second. Kusatz is the third man to hit safely here in the bottom of the first inning. First and second for Bestland. Roos at second, Kusatz at first. 3 hits already in the bottom of the first for the Dumont Saints, who still trail at 2-1. Teams are here to swing the bats, and none of the hits have been cheap, certainly. Claire ready. Here's the pitch. Swung on, and that is flipped foul down the first base side. It's going to get out of play. And it's strike one to Bestlin. Eric Deal, the first baseman, moves on deck for the Saints. Bottom half of the first inning. Glad to have you along here on Prep Spotlight TV as we stream every game of the Minnesota Amateur Baseball Championships. Now, here's the pitch. That is on the inside corner for strike 2 to Trent Bestlin. Tying run at second base, Roos. Claire ready. Here comes the 0-1. Swung on and popped up behind the plate, and it's going to reach the, going to make the roof. So 2 strikes to Bestlin. Righty-lefty matchup now. No balls, 2 strikes to Bestlin. Here's the pitch, and that's up high with a fastball, 1-2. They are playing Bestland slightly to pull in the outfield. The infield is back at all 4 stations. They can get a ground ball here. They can get a double play and get off the field. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hangs a breaking ball up, and it's even, 2-2. Both pitchers struggling out of the gate here. Now, Claire comes set. Here's a 2-2. Fastball swung on, hit to the right side. It's going to be fielded there. Aylshire goes to second, throws it away. And Roos will come in to score as Bestland reaches on a fielder's choice. Error 3 in my book. We'll see what the official scorer does here as Bestland reaches. Roos scores, and the game is tied at 2. And E3 is indeed the call. So Kusatz winds up at third. So each team commits an error, and that's going to cause a sermon on the mound, if you will, as Claire now faces runners at the corners with 1 out and the possibility of having that crooked number erased in the first inning. It's already been tied up 2-2. But Deal, the first baseman, will try to break the tie with a go-ahead run 90 feet away. Deal with Kusatz at third, Bestland at first. Aylshire picked the ball up at first base, had time, and then put it in the dirt. And lefty-lefty matchup. Here's the pitch. Outside with a fastball. Paul Zach, the catcher, will move on deck. Claire ready, and here's the pitch, and that's up. 2 balls and no strikes. Deal may be turned loose here on the hitter's count, 2-0. Bestland has a modest lead at first base. 2-0. He's taking all the way and takes outside. It's ball 3. Claire having as much fun on the mound as Roos did in the top half of the first inning, certainly. And he's behind Deal, 3 balls and no strikes. Pitch. There's a strike. Fastball over, and it's 3-1. 2 runs, 3 hits, and an error for Dumont. 2 runs, 2 hits, and an error for Richmond in the first inning. 3-1. Pitch is swung on and rolled towards the right side. Past Aylshire and into right field, a base hit. Kusatz scores. Bestland checks in at second base, and Dumont has come back, and they now lead the game here in the bottom of the first, 3-2. Here's Paul Zach, the catcher. First and second, still only 1 out in the bottom of the first inning as Dumont has come back with 3 in the bottom half of the frame. Claire ready. And here's the pitch. That is high. 1 ball and no strikes. Jake Ulick, the right fielder, is on deck. He'll be the 8th man to bat in the bottom of the first inning. 1-0. Fastball jammed him, and he fouls it back to the screen. 1 ball and 1 strike. Playing him a couple of steps around towards left center field. Now, Claire ready. Comes 1-1. Fastball. That's a jam shot towards third base. Miller up with it. Throws across to Aylshire to retire Zach, and that's the second out. Both runners move up. So Beslin to third, Deal to second, and that'll leave it up to Ulick, the right fielder. Where's number 10, right-handed batter? He's got 2 in scoring position. Clare to the belt. And here's his pitch. Swung on, and that's rolled towards the middle. Beldy to his right. He's got it. He throws on to first base, and that retires Ulick on 1 pitch and the side in the bottom of the first. But Dumont scores 3 runs on 4 hits, 1 error, and they leave 2. We played 1 inning here in Waconia. It's 3-2 Dumont here on Prep Spotlight TV. Ready for the second inning here in Waconia and Lions Field. Jeff Pape is with you. Glad to have you along with the Prep Spotlight team as we bring you every game here in the Minnesota State Amateur Baseball Tournament. Roos needed 26 pitches to get through the top of the first. Clare needed 31 to get through the bottom of the inning. 21 strikes. And it'll be 9-1-2 coming up for Richmond here in the second inning. Chase Ailshire, the first baseman, will lead off. Both these teams completing a trip through the order before an out recorded in the second inning. So here's Ailshire ready. Again, right-hander against lefty, and here's a pitch swung on, and that's popped up on the infield to the right side. Lamper, the third baseman, calling. Lost it in the sun, and the pitcher can't make the catch. He lost it in the sun, and Lamper, you could tell as the ball came straight up in the air. He had it originally, but then lost it completely, and we'll see how they score this. This is it's a tough play, and it brings up Clare. No decision as yet. I'd score that a hit, frankly. And time called by the batter. For the reason that Lamper was off the ball so late that Roos didn't have time to put up the glove and make a play. Breaking pitch fouled back to the screen for strike 1. And there is no decision on the board as yet. And they're scoring an error on the play, but it's on the first baseman, which isn't correct. As the ball rolls over to first base, it would have to be on Roos, because Lamper lost the ball in the sun, and it is an error charged. Second error in the first 2 innings. Now the pitch is swung on, and that's rolled towards the middle. Paul to his left has it, steps on the bag, throws to first in time for a double play, and that erases Clare. 2 down here in the second inning, 6-3. And it'll leave it up to Dalton Thielen, the designated hitter. So hit or error doesn't matter in this case, as it turns out, as the lead runner is erased on the first part of the double play. Thielen walked and scored in the top of the first inning. Again, that wide open stance. Roos ready, and here's the pitch. Swung on, and that is up high. Or excuse me, not swung on. Pitch is taken for a fastball up high. 1 ball and no strikes. Roos ready, here he comes. And that's a little jam shot to third. Lamper is up with it, guns it across, and a full splits at first base for Deal, and that retires Thielen. 5-3 on the play. Probably didn't need to make it as close as it looked. No runs, no hits, one error, nobody left, inning and a half, and it's 3-2 Dumont here on Prep Spotlight TV.
Celebrate the end of the 2021 Town Ball season when your teammates, rivals, and ball fans from around the state begin on September 11th. Special ticket pricing for Town Ball players and fans. Salutes to the newly crowned champs and a very fun night at the ballpark. Order your tickets from baseball.com/townball and wear your town's team colors to Target Field on September 11th.
I see. I got you.
More information on Bongar's products, local retail stores, and career opportunities, please visit bongars.com.
We are in the bottom of the second inning here at beautiful Lions Field in Waconia. Race an early 2-0 deficit. Carson Woodall, the right-handed hitting left fielder. They'll play him around towards right. Claire comes to the belt, and here's the pitch. That's taken low and away for ball one. Then the order flips, and Paul will get his second look at Claire. You liked the first one, certainly. It's a 1-0. That is tap foul at the plate. Evens the count of the ball and a strike. Paul and Roos on deck. They're in the bottom half of the second inning. Claire ready, and here he comes. That is on the inside corner for strike two. Now Claire is ready, and he works. Swing and a miss in the dirt, and they're going to have to throw him out. No, they don't. They did not hit the dirt, so it's a strikeout for Claire, his second. And that brings up Paul, doubled and scored in the first inning. Strikeout number 2 now for Claire. Swing and a foul tip at the plate, and it's strike one to Paul. He doesn't get cheated when he gets up there. It's see if they're going to play him a step over to left center this time. They had him played over to right in the first time when he put in the gap, and got an easy double out of it, and they learned from that. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and breaking ball is low and in. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now Claire ready, and here he comes, 1-1. Threw a fastball right past him. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Same kind of pitch that Paul hit for a double his last time up. This time he couldn't catch up to it. 1-2. Here's the pitch. Swung on and grounded fouled on the third base side, and one of the better fielding third base coaches you'll see makes the kick save. Still 1-2. Now here's the set and the 1-2 delivery. Breaking ball got him looking, and Paul knew it. He heads back to the dugout. Second straight strikeout for Claire. 3rd overall, and here's Roos. Singled to center and later scored. Now the first pitch is a fastball a little bit low. 1 ball and no strikes. Thielen is on deck if Roos can reach and keep the second inning alive. Claire ready from the set, works, and he missed a little low. 2-0. He's ready. Here he comes. 2-0, and that's inside. 3 balls and no strikes. One pitcher ahead, 3-0 on the other. Now Roos stands in. 3 balls and no strikes. The pitch. He's taking all the way, and he takes strike 1. Now Claire ready. And here comes his 3-1 delivery. That's low and in, and he has walked his first batter. Jordan Roos is aboard. So here's Thielen, struck out looking his first time up.
Number 7.
0-for-1, and Roos will lead at first base with 2 outs. He's got a better lead this time than he did last time, but the left-hander. And there he goes. Boy, a great jump he got. The throw to second base is nowhere near in time, and Roos with a stolen base. A terrific jump he had there. He had it timed perfectly, and Roos is in with a stolen base. Pitch was called a strike to Thielen. Here's the 0-1, and that's tapped on the first base side. That's going to get fouled. 2 strikes now. Now comes set, and the 0-2. Got him looking again, and Thielen is a strikeout victim for the second time. 4th strikeout for Claire. He strikes out the side in the second inning. No runs, no hits, 1 left. We played 2, and it is 3-2 for the Dumont Saints.
Thank you, Richmond Medical Center, for partnering with the WCH 2021. For more information, please go to richviewmedical.org.
Three, 4, 5 coming up in the top of the 3rd inning for Richmond, trailing 3-2. Gherkin, Primus, and Schmitz. And Roos needed only 5 pitches to get off the field in the 2nd inning. Gherkin walked and was forced at second base in the 1st inning. No official appearance yet. Roos deals, and he catches the outside corner with a breaking ball for strike 1. And they've got Gherkin swung around towards right center. In the outfield, here's a pitch. His line off the pitcher's glove, and it's going to go to second base. Thielen has to hurry, throws to first, and he got him. It is a 1-4-3 putout. Gherkin is retired by half a step. But the ball came off Roos and deflected to Thielen. 1-4-3 the play, and there's one down for Mason Primus. Reached on a fielder's choice, stranded at third base in the first inning. And the wide open stance for the cleanup man. This starts him with a breaking pitch that hangs up. 1 ball and no strikes. 1 ball and 1 walk, and let's try that again. 1 strikeout and 2 walks for Roos, and here's the 1-0 pitch, swung on and missed by Primus, and it's 1-1. 31 pitches, 20 strikes through 2 innings for Roos. Now ready, here he comes again. That one is a little bit high, and it's 2-1. When you consider that 8 of those pitches not in the strike zone run is 2 walks, he's actually been around the plate pretty well. Here's Roos delivering. There's a curveball, and then it's fouled over the roof on the first base side. 2-2. We're in the top half of inning number 3. Roos is ready. Primus stands in, and here's the 2-2. Fastball, half swing, and that cost him, I think. It did. He went around, and Primus is retired. That is the 2nd strikeout for Roos, and it'll bring up Schmitz. After a rocky start, it's 4 in a row now for Roos. Retired, and Schmitz caught looking his first time up. Fastball a bit high, 1 ball and no strikes. Logan Aylshire waits on deck. Now Roos ready, and he winds and works, and he's upstairs with a breaking pitch. 2 balls and no strikes. Here's the 2-0. Swing and a miss. Tardy on the fastball there. I think he was looking for something off speed, and Roos threw it right past him. 2-0. Now the 2-1. Fastball, and that's on the outside corner for strike 2. Now here's the 2-2 delivery. Breaking pitch off speed, and that's roped into left field for a base hit for Schmitz. And that's the 3rd hit for Richmond. And here's Aylshire, single to center as an RBI. 1 for 1, and a 2-out base runner for Richmond. Trail 3-2 here in the top half of inning number 3. Bruce sets and works, swung on and tapped that, caught the catcher. Or was it the umpire? Yep, it hit the umpire, and he has to go out for a little walk here. He's going to give Roos a new baseball, and then he's going to collect himself. Strike 1 to Aylshire. He has a swat for the catcher. You should have caught that. But that's why they give umpires masks too, I suppose, is 1 strike the count. Schmitz with a lead at first, and here's the pitch. That's fouled away on the third base side for strike 2 to Aylshire. Now Bruce ready, and he works 0-2. Slow curveball is hitting the air to center field. Kusatz over to his right, has it measured and makes the catch. Aylshire is retired, and that will do it for Richmond in the 3rd inning. 1 hit and 1 left. We have played 2.5, and it is 3-2 here on Prep Spotlight TV.
All summer long, you have gathered with friends, neighbors, and family at ball yards all across Minnesota.
Still going, gone, a home run.
Diamonds that decorate and help define hundreds of communities. Town Ball binds together our passion for baseball in our hometowns. And on September 11th, the cornerstone of Minnesota baseball, Target Field, will host a party for all those who play, watch, and support Town Ball. The Twins host the Royals at 6:10 p.m. prior to the game, the newly crowned state amateur champs will be honored at the Town Ball Tavern and during a pregame ceremony. Wear your team colors and enjoy a special night at Target Field.
The 0-2 pitch. Strike three! Fairmont, state champions in 2020.
To the Fairmont Martins. They are your 2020.
For tickets to the Twins' Tip of the Cap to Town Ball on September 11th, visit twinsbaseball.com/townball.
We head to the bottom half of inning number 3 here in Waconia at Lions Field. It's 3-2 for the Dumont Saints. All the scoring coming in the first inning in this game. And Brady Clare, 4 strikeouts to his credit through 2 innings. Both pitchers settling down in their half of the second. And it'll be Kusatz, the center fielder, to lead off. He singled in the first inning and later scored. 1 for 1.
Their center fielder, number 14, Pat Kusatz.
Now, Claire ready, and he works. Fastball a little bit outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Kusatz, Bestland, and Deal due up in the bottom of the 3rd inning. 4, 5, and 6 men at the plate for the home team, and there's a pitch rolled towards the right side, and it is going to be fielded behind the bag. Chase Aylshire steps on it and retires Kusatz 3 unassisted to start the 3rd inning. One gone for Bestland. Reached on a fielder's choice and was stranded. Rule number 1 for a fellow with a microphone is never unplug your mixer by mistake. 1 ball and 1 strike to Trent Bestland. Well, the lefty works, and that's taken up high. 2 balls and a strike. 1 gone here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. And a game coming up later tonight, so an evening doubleheader. Luxembourg and St. Benedict. There's a breaking pitch on the inside corner for strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Luxembourg Brewers, mainly a St. Cloud Cold Spring team, taking on the St. Benedict Saints. Here's a 2-2 pitch swung on, and that's flipped foul over the roof on the first base side. St. Benedict, Jordan, Belle Plaine, Shakopee, some New Prague players on that team, so that's coming up tonight, scheduled to start about 7 o'clock. We'll see. Here's the pitch. There's a breaking ball, and it's a little bit low and perhaps inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Now, Claire works. Fastball is rolled towards 3rd base. Miller to his left has it, and he goes on to first in time. 5-3 the play to retire Bestland, and there's 2 up and 2 down here in the 3rd. I'll leave it up to Deal. Singled in a run in the first inning. 1 for 1.
Batting next for Dumont. Number 8, first base, Eric Keel.
4 strikeouts and a walk through 2 2/3 innings. 48 pitches through those 2 innings for Claire. 32 strikes. 32 strikes, excuse me. And there's a strike called to Deal. 0-1. Left-hander's ready, and here's the pitch swung on, and that is chopped towards the middle. Beldy to his right picks it up, and he throws on to first. 3 up and 3 down for Dumont in the bottom of the 3rd inning. 1-2-3-0 across. We played 3, and it's 3-2. Dumont here on Prep Spotlight TV.
Town Ball Tour. Head to the small towns and tell people what it's all about.
A lot of excitement. Weather is fantastic.
This place has been here since the early 80s.
This is a baseball town.
The town is here, the kids are here, it's safe, it's a wonderful environment.
We certainly met some wonderful characters.
Thanks for joining us for another season of Fox 9's Town Ball Tour.
TCONN.com. Thank you very much.
Through 3 innings of play, it is Dumont 3 runs, 4 hits, 2 errors, and Richmond 2 runs, 3 hits, and 1 error. And they send the bottom third of the order to the plate in the top half of the 4th inning against Jordan Roos, who has thrown 46 pitches, 31 strikes. And he'll start with Cameron Miller, reached on an error in the 1st inning. 0 for 1 officially. Jeff Papis with you with a call here from Lions Field in Waconia. Roos ready, and here's the pitch. Miller shows bunt and takes ball 1, and then had Lamper in on the grass at third base, where he remains at this moment. And here is the pitch. Breaking ball over. Ball and a strike to Miller. Dusty Adams on deck, and Chase Aylshire will follow here in the 4th. The pitch from Roos. Breaking ball, and that's grounded wide of first, and that's a foul ball as Deal plays it in foul territory. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Roos ready. Has the sign he likes, and here comes the 1-2. And that is grounded foul down the third base side. Still 1-2. 2 strikeouts and 2 walks for Jordan Roos. The 2 walks back-to-back in the 1st inning. Keyed that 2-run inning for Richmond. Here's the pitch. Swung on, and that is fouled away on the third base side. Count rides. 1-2. And then came back and retired 4 straight before giving up a single to Schmitz in the 3rd inning. Now the 1-2. A lollipop of a breaking pitch, and that's fouled back to the screen. I would say he took something off that, but I don't know there was a whole lot to begin with that was on it. So 1-2. Bruce ready. 1-2, swung on, and that is hit sharply towards the middle. Over to his right, Thielen has it, and he goes on to first to retire Miller for the first out in the 4th. 1 down, and here's Adams. Lined out to third base his first time up. Play the 4th inning as everybody worked out the kinks in the 1st inning. All the runs in the game scored in that frame. Now Roos is ready. And he is just off the inside corner with a fastball to Dusty Adams. Ball 1. Now pitcher ready, Roos works, and there's a bender that's over for a strike. 1-1. Roos has allowed just 1 hit since that 1st inning, and he's gone through the full order. Now there's a breaking ball that's outside, and it's 2-1. And the only hit he allowed was a single by Schmitz. Now Roos ready. Here's the 2-1. That's a little bit inside. 3-1. Now time called at the plate at the last moment by Adams, who's ahead 3-1. And now that'll bring Zach out to the mound to talk to Jordan Roos. Now they've ironed out their differences, and Zach goes back at the plate again. 3 balls and a strike. Now the 3-1 delivery. Roos right through there for the fastball for a strike, and it's 3-2. So the pitcher battles back and works it to a full count, and here is the 3-2 delivery. Fastball is swung on and sliced foul on the third base side. It's going to get out of play. Count holds, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Roos ready. And the payoff pitch. Fastball is swung on and hit right back to him. Roos knocks it down, picks it up. He's got time. And he underhands to first base to retire Adams. 1-3 for the second out of inning number 4. And that'll leave it up to Chase Aylshire. Reached on an error in the second inning. That high pop fly on the infield that dropped at the last moment. So Aylshire is 0 for 1 officially. Here's the pitch. Shows bunt, takes strike 1. And that had Lampert charging from third base. Now Roos ready, and here comes the 0-1. Hangs that breaking ball outside, lost his release point there, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Roos is already over 60 pitches here in the 4th inning. There's the 1-1. Fastball is hit high in the air behind short. Paul calling for it. Shields his eyes against the sun and makes the catch. 3 up and 3 down in the 4th inning for Richmond. We have played 3.5, and Dumont leads by a run.
Score remains. Dumont 3, Richmond 2. Ladies and gentlemen, EPS. If your next commercial building project needs the electrical or technology solutions, then count on EPS. For over 33 years, EPS has been helping communities like Chaska and Chanhassen build projects on budget and on time. The EPS employees are people who bring excellence to their customers' commercial projects and will do what they say they will do. Please visit their website, electricalproduction.com, to learn more about the many skills they have to offer you. Thank you.
Bottom of the 4th here from Waconia Lions Field, and it's the 7, 8, 9 part of the order for the Dumont Saints. Leading off is Zach, the catcher. He is 0 for 1. Grounded to third base his last time up.
Number 32, catcher, Paul Zach.
Claire ready, and that's jumped on and line foul down the third base line. Strike 1 to Zach. 60 pitches through 3 innings, 38 strikes for Brady Clare. 4 strikeouts and a walk through 3. 0-1. That's in the dirt. evens things up. Zach, Ulick, and Model are due up in the bottom half of the fourth for Dumont. And here's the pitch. Fastball a little bit low. And it's 2-1. A couple steps towards left field. Center fielder Primus playing. And here's the pitch. That is a little bit inside. And Zach is now up 3 balls and a strike, the catcher. Now Claire is ready. And here he comes, 3-1. Swung on and hit high in the air to center field. Primus over. As it measured and makes the catch. That retires Paul Zach for the first out in the bottom half of the fourth inning. And it brings up Ulick, who bounced to second his first time up, 0 for 1.
Batting next for Dumont. Number 10, right fielder, Jake Ulrich.
I guess you could say he has Old Glory on his socks. He's got the stars on the right side and the stripes on the other. There's the pitch. Shows bunt. Takes a strike on the inside corner. Nice breaking ball that broke late and over the inside part of the plate. Oh, 1. Off the end of the bat, foul. At the plate, 0-2. Now, Claire ready. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Swing and a miss. He ran a fastball up the ladder, and Ulick swung past it for the second out. 5th strikeout for Claire, and here's Model, the left fielder. He struck out swinging his first time up.
Batting for Dumont. Number 1, left fielder, Carson Ulo.
First pitch is a strike over. Dumont has not had a hit since the first inning. There's the pitch, and that's sliced foul down the first base side for strike 2 to Model. Last hit they had was the single by Deal back in the first inning. Since then, Claire's set down 10 out of 11, and he gets Model swinging. 6 strikeouts through 4 innings for the left-hander. 1, 2, 3, nothing across. We played 4, and it's still 3-2 Dumont here on Prep Spotlight TV.
Nobody does high school sports like PrepSpotlight.tv. Your home for Minnesota State tournament action is also where you can find the best weekly action during the regular season in 2021. We make it easy to be a high school sports fan at PrepSpotlight.tv.
Here, Chief Dealer and Dodge Dealer in all of Minnesota. Our UA City Ram trucks.
Through 4 innings, the starting pitchers have settled down well after a wild and woolly start to this game. Jordan Roos has held Richmond to 1 hit in the next 3 innings. And Brady Clare has held Dumont to no hits at all over the last 3 innings. Top of the order due up here in the 5th for Richmond. Clare with a chance to help himself here after settling down on the mound. 63 pitches through 4 innings, 43 strikes for Roos. And here comes the right-handed batter. Walked and scored in the first, bounced to third. In the second inning, he is 0 for 1 with a run scored.
Richmond Royals. Leadoff hitter, number 17, pitcher, Brady Clare.
Bruce ready? The pitch. Clare takes a breaking ball over for strike 1. And Lamper in on the grass at third base. Now backs up a step or so to play even with the bag. Here's the 0-1. Swung on, and that is sliced foul down the third base side. It'll get out of play. No balls and 2 strikes. Bruce ready. And there's the 0-2. And that is in the dirt. Bounces away from Zach. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now Bruce ready. Here comes the 1-2 delivery. Big breaking ball, just a little bit high, and it is 2-2. It's a good take there by Claire. Now Bruce ready, here's 2-2. Fastball, and that's upstairs. So the count is full to the leadoff man in the 5th inning, Brady Claire. Moment of decision here as Bruce winds and works 3-2. Fastball is fouled away on the third base side, and we'll do it all again at 3-2. Now the 3-2 again. Bruce misses low and in, and he walks Claire to lead off the 5th inning. 3rd walk issued by Roos, who has struck out 2. And here's Thielen, the designated hitter, walked and scored and bounced to 3rd, 0 for 1. We'll see if Claire moves here. He stole first base his last time he was on base. Got a modest lead at first base. And well in on the grass is Lamper at 3rd as he threw a fastball, Roos did, right past Thielen for strike 1. And he pulls one on a line. He's going to get Lamper killed. Lamper was a full 2 to 3 steps in on the grass when that pitch was delivered. Now a throw over to first base, and Claire back in on his stomach. Now Claire gets his lead. It's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Runner goes, throw to second base, and they're going to get interference here. Catcher interference, and that is, they're going to call Thielen out for catcher interference. And there'll be a discussion here about where to place the runner. Presumably they will have Claire go back to first base. So the throw did not, that's the reason the throw sort of squirted out past the mound. Claire has to hold first base. Thielen unassisted, 2-U, the scoring on the play there. And it'll be Trent Gerken at the plate. Thielen called out for interfering with the play at second base. Claire has to go back to first. Swung on and hit in the air to right field, had a hit and run on there, and Ulick is over, now comes in, and he makes the catch, and Claire has to go back to first base. So Gerken flies to right on the first pitch he sees for the second out, and it'll bring up Primus, the center fielder, reached on a fielder's choice, struck out 0 for 2.
Center field for Richmond, number 23, Mason Primus.
So now Claire gets his lead from first base, and Roos is ready. There comes the pitch. A breaking ball is a little bit low. 1 ball and no strikes to the number 4 man in the order for the Richmond Royals. Both teams started strong, and since then they have been sort of a holding pattern as the pitchers have figured things out. Claire gets his lead at first base with 2 down. Throw over. And Claire gets back in. 1 ball, no strikes. Now another throw. Clare gets back. I'm pretty sure that that's not Roos's best move. It's enough to keep the runner honest, though. 1 ball, no strikes, and here's the pitch. Runner goes. Throw to second base is much better, and it's not in time as Clare slid around the tag and has his second stolen base of the afternoon. 2 balls and no strikes to Primus, and Clare is in scoring position with a tying run. Two stolen bases, both by the leadoff man and the pitcher. Brady Clare. 2-0 to Primus. Now the pitcher will step off. Now Roos is ready. Ready to work 2-0, and here's the pitch. Breaking ball, that's a beauty, over for a strike. 2-1. Cole Schmitz is on deck if Primus can keep the inning going. Right-hander ready from the set. 2-1. That's in the dirt, and a nice stop by Zach. 3-1. So Roos has had minor issues with control here, but this is one where you'd want to nip that in the bud with 2 out and a tying run. 2 bases away. Now Roos ready. And the 3-1 delivery. Breaking ball catches the inner half, and the count is full on Primus. That pitch has been a strike all day, to be fair. From my vantage point, those pitches look inside, but the umpire has been consistent the whole way through, and he has called that pitch. 3-2. Runner goes, swung on and sliced foul on the first base side, and the count rides. Three-two with 2 strikes. The runner expects to move and did in that case, and he probably will again on this 3-2 delivery. Three-two. Swung on, and that's fouled back to the screen. And I'm not sure that you really want your pitcher running wind sprints like that when he's still got pitching to do. You don't want him to wear out his legs, but Clare means that much to this Richmond team at the top of the lineup. Three-two again. Breaking pitch, and that is hit towards short, slowly hit. Lamper charging, throws, and that time the stretch is needed to record the 3rd out, and Primus is nailed by a half step at first base. 5-3 the play, and Deal with a full splits ends the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. 4.5. It's 3-2 for Dumont here on Prep Spotlight TV.
Call them today at 952-847-0001 or find them online at advancedmedicalservicesmn.com. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have concessions available, all kinds out in the food court. The 3/4. We had the first base dugout. We haven't found that yet. All kinds of burgers, dogs, tots, French fries. You name it, it's there. Please visit them and grill it.
On to the bottom half of inning number 5 here from Lions Field in Waconia. 3-2 for the Dumont Saints. 3 of the first 4 batters hit safely and scored. And nothing since for the Saints, but they still hold that lead, and they send the top of the order to the plate. And here's Paul, the shortstop. Doubled in the first, struck out looking in the second. 1 for 2 with a run scored. And again, our second game coming up at about 7, Luxembourg and St. Benedict. Here's the first pitch. Paul takes a strike called. 0-1. Coming up on 6 o'clock, though. I don't think we got a prayer making 7 for the second game tonight. Now here's the pitch, 0-1, and that is in the dirt. Evens things up at 1-1. Started a little bit behind, but not terribly so. The first game was rather lengthy, we're told here today. So they've been a little bit behind schedule. Now the 1-1. Fastball is off the plate, 2-1. 71 pitches, 46 strikes through 4 innings for Brady Clare. Now he's behind 2-1 to Paul. Fastball fouled at the plate, and it's 2-2.
I think I did buy a few just for the 2X converter.
Now Clare ready. Sets, and here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him, ran him up the ladder with a fastball. Strikeout number 7 for Clare. First out recorded in the 5th, and here's Roos, singled and scored in the second inning, walked and stole second in the second inning. He is 1 for 1. Has a run batted in and a stolen base as well. Clare ready. He bunts down the third base side, foul. Interesting idea there for the pitcher, but Roos taps it foul at the plate. Thought he could catch Miller up the line, and I don't think he'll have that advantage next time. Roos stands in. They do have him played to pull. Here's the 0-1. Fastball swung on, and that is fouled away on the first base side, and that'll get out of play. 2 strikes to Roos, who they're trying to retire for the first time today. Now Clare ready. Here he comes 0-2. Oh, that was a lovely breaking pitch. It was going a little bit low, just locked Roos up at the plate, and he watched it go by and then got the call. 1-2. Fastball grounded up the middle. Clare tips it towards second base. Beldy charges, throws to first, and for the second time today, we have a 1-4-3 putout. As Roos grounds out for the second out in the 5th inning, and here's Steeler, who's had a tough day. 2 appearances, caught looking both times. He is 0 for 2. Got 2 gone here in the home half of the 5th inning. First pitch, and that is a strike call. The fastball on the outside corner to Thielen, who's trying to find a way to put a ball in play here. Number 3 man on the order for the Saints. Claire ready. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Left-hander looking in. A wind, and here's the 0-2 delivery. Fastball. That is roped down the first base line, and it lands fair. Thielen will round first. The ball rattles around in the corner, and he will stop at second. He thought about third, and that would have been close. Thielen will hold with a 2-out double.
I didn't see the coach, but I was.
And Kusatz will come up with Thielen in scoring position. That's their first hit since the first inning. And he painted the right field line with that drive. Here's Kusatz, singled in a run in the first, grounded to first base in the third inning. 1 for 2.
I know it. You're looking, you're wondering. Yeah, I know it. So used to seeing the replay earlier.
Here's the 0-2. It swung on, and that is looped towards right center field and down for a base hit. Thielen rounding third, digging for the plate. There'll be no throw. Kusatz with an RBI single. Thielen scores, and it is 4-2. Kusatz 2 for 3 with 2 runs driven in, and he is the 2-out base runner. And here's Bestlin. So on consecutive pitches with 2 outs, Dumont manufactures a run, a double for Thielen, and a first pitch single for Kusatz. And here's Bestlin, the designated hitter. Reached in a fielder's choice in the first inning and grounded out. He's 0 for 2. Kusatz gets his lead. He's got a good lead at first base. Here's the pitch, and that is a little bit up with a breaking ball, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Deal is on deck now, the first baseman, as Dumont manufactures a 2-out run, and they have a 4-2 advantage as we play the bottom of the 5th. Here's the pitch. Inside corner for a strike, 1-1. Bestlin has done a nice job of working deep into counts. 13 pitches he's seen in the first 2 trips to the plate, and then he follows one straight back to the screen. As Claire was at 74 pitches through 4 innings. Kusatz gets his lead from first base, 1-2 with 2 outs. And the pitch. Swung on, and that is grounded to third. Miller charges, and he goes across the diamond to retire Bestlin 5-3 and retires this side in the 5th inning, but a run and 2 hits. No errors and 1 left. We played 5. Dumont leads at 4-2 over Richmond here on Prep Spotlight TV.
All summer long, you have gathered with friends, neighbors, and family at ball yards all across Minnesota.
Still going, gone, a home run.
Diamonds that decorate and help define hundreds of communities. Town Ball binds together our passion for baseball in our hometowns. And on September 11th, the cornerstone of Minnesota baseball, Target Field, will host a party for all those who play, watch, and support Town Ball. The Twins host the Royals at 6:10 p.m. Prior to the game, the newly crowned state amateur champs will be honored at the Town Ball Tavern and during a pregame ceremony. Wear your team colors and enjoy a special night at Target Field.
The 0-2 pitch. Strike 3! Fairmont, state champions in 2020.
To the Fairmont Martins. They are your 2020.
For tickets to the Twins' Tip of the Cap to Town Ball on September 11th, visit twinsbaseball.com/townball.
We go on to the 6th here in Waconia at Lions Field, and the Dumont Saints lead the Richmond Royals 4-2, and they're doing the mid-game work on the infield. It's a fresh drag, which of course at a St. Paul Saints game, if you see them drag the infield, the ground crew wears a dress when they do that. Just a little Mike Beck humor, I think. Through 5 innings, 81 pitches, 56 strikes for Jordan Roos. He struck out 2 and walked 3. He's allowed 3 hits in the game and has managed things pretty well to this point. He got in trouble in the first inning. They loaded the bases twice on him, and he got out of it with 2 runs scoring, which is about the mathematical average for what a team should be expected to score when they load the bases with nobody out. It's between 1 and 2 runs. And they got 2. But now, Richmond looking for its first run since that first inning, and it'll be Cole Schmitz to lead off. Caught looking in the first, single to left in the third. He has the most recent hit for his team. 1 for 2. Now the pitch. Schmitz swings and hits one a long ways, very foul down the third base side. Now Roos ready, and here he comes 0-1. Breaking ball. That's a good take by Schmitz. It took more guts than I got. Tell you what, to take that pitch, 1 ball and 1 strike. Roos ready, and he winds and works 1-1. That is off the plate. 2-1 with a fastball. Schmitz, Aylshire, Logan Aylshire, and Miller are due up here in the 5th inning for 6th inning for Richmond. Now Roos ready, and here comes the 2-1. Swung on and missed. He pulled the string on him. 2-2. Richmond with a pretty good sized bench here if they choose to use it in the late innings. And here is the 2-2 delivery. Swung on and fouled back to the netting. 2-2. 12 players sitting on their bench as well, so the Royals well represented. And here's the 2-2 delivery. Swung on and off the end of the bat into center field. Kusatz is over, and he makes the catch. I don't know if that cracked it or not, but it's a fly out for Schmitz. First out of the 6th inning. It didn't sound healthy for the bat, that's for sure. And here's Logan Aylshire, singled in a run in the first, flew to center in the 3rd inning. 1 for 2. Richmond and manager Blaine Appman with the decisions they may need to make here as they get to the late innings, trailing by 2 runs. Roos ready. Fastball and inside. 1-0. Roos ready, and here he comes. Pitch is fouled straight back out of play, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Logan Aylshire. Lamper is in again on the grass at third base. Aylshire, one of the players that had showed bunt previously. Now the 1-1. Breaking ball over for a strike, 1-2. Now Roos ready, and here comes his 1-2. Breaking ball, and that one he hung outside. 2-2. Roos ready. Sun's starting to get lower in the sky here, so the sun fields are going to play a little more of a factor as he gets Aylshire swinging. 3rd strikeout for Roos, and it will leave it up to Miller here in the top half of the 6th inning. He is 0 for 2, reached on an error, and grounded to second base in his 2 trips to the plate. Roos is ready, and here's the pitch. Swung on, and that is sliced foul on the third base side. That'll get out of play, and again, Lamper well in on the grass. at third base. Outfield has him shaded a step towards left, and Waddle playing very shallow in left field. Here's the pitch. That's a fastball up, and it is 1-1 to Miller, who has gone to the second baseman twice here in the 2 trips. Here's the 1-1. That's a little bit low with a fastball there, and it's 2-1. Adams is waiting on deck, hoping Miller can keep it going for him. Here's the 2-1. That's 3-1 and a fastball up. So Roos closing in on 100 pitches now. He pitches the top of the 6th inning. Here comes the 3-1. That is a strike call to the outside corner, 3-2. Again, that pitch has been there the whole day. Here's the payoff. Swung on and rolled to the right side. Deal. Fielded it, but it was foul. And it passed the bag, so it was the first base umpire's call. And he signaled foul. The ball hit the bag or not, my view was obstructed by a post there of the first base bag. But the umpire had other things to say about it, and here's the pitcher's going to step off. So if it hits the bag, of course, it's a fair ball. And evidently the umpire on that side said it did not, and it took a hop that suggested that it might have. But here's the 3-2 delivery. Swung on and grounded up the middle, ranging to his left. Paul has it. He guns on to first in time and retires Miller. And Richmond is retired in order in the 6th inning. 1-2-3-0 across, 5.5, and it's 4-2 Dumont here on Prep Spotlight TV.
Celebrate the end of the 2021 Town Ball season. Join your teammates, rivals, and ball fans from around the state at the Twins game on September 11th. Special ticket pricing for Town Ball players and fans. Salutes to the newly crowned champs and a very fun night at the ballpark. Order your tickets at twinsbaseball.com/townball and wear your town's team colors to Target Field on September 11th.
Support the Columbia Tennessee Hammer 2021 State Amateur Baseball Tournament. Thank you, IRBY.
Bottom 6 here in Waconia, 4-2. Dumont is on top, having just scored in the 5th inning to expand that lead. They send 6, 7, and 8 to the plate. Deal, Zach, and Ulick.
Sound good. Sound good.
Interesting line here for, we have a pitching change for Richmond. Coming in to pitch now is number 3, Eli Emerson. Leclerc's day is done. 5 innings pitched. 91 pitches, 59 strikes. He allows 4 runs, all earned. 6 hits, struck out 7, and walked 1. And Eli Emerson, number 3, coming in to pitch for Richmond here in the bottom half of the 6th inning.
Eli Emerson, number 3, now pitching for Richmond.
Emerson from Cold Spring, and he will.
Dumont Saints. Their first baseman, number 8,
Eric Deal checks in, and he is the first batter that will face Eli Anderson. Here comes the pitch. Fastball, and it's fouled straight back for strike 1. Right-handed pitcher, Eli Emerson. Now Deal ready. Here comes the 0-1. Hangs a breaking ball in. 1 ball and 1 strike. Against Claire, Deal was 1 for 2, singled and grounded out. Drove in a run. 1-1. It's a fastball low and in, 2-1. Zach and Ulick are due up here in the bottom of the 6th for Dumont as they hold that 2-run lead. Anderson works out of the set and works 2-1, and he's low on that pitch, and it's 3-1. So Claire his day is finished, and there's a strike called, the fastball in the inside corner. But Claire is not out of the ball game. He is in center field now, which would mean there's a fly ball hit in the air to right, and the catch made by Gherkin. A retired Deal for the first out. Primus moves to right field. Now here's Zach. Pitches down low for a ball. So that changes things. Primus goes from left to right. Claire goes to center. And out of the ball game is Gherkin, and there's a strike called. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now Anderson comes set, and here is the pitch. Swing and a miss. He pulled the string on him, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. 1 out, nobody on, bottom half of inning number 6. Now the 1-2. And that is grounded past Anderson towards second base. Beldy up with it, and he throws on to first to retire Zach. 4-3 the play, 2 down here in the 6th. And that will leave it up to Jake Ulick, who was 0 for 2. Grounded to second base and struck out. And as soon as I say that Gherkin is out of the game, he's not. He is at second base, and he made that last play. So Beldy, who originally played second base, he appears to be out of the game. Usually, those sort of things are signaled by the umpire, but not in this case, and there's a fastball tailing away to Ulick. 1 ball and no strikes. So Gherkin now at second base. While I'm at it, I might as well check out everybody else in the infield. Logan Aylshire still at short, of course, and there's a pitch inside to Ulick. 2 balls and no strikes. And Cameron Miller remains at third. So it appears as though Kyle Beldy, who did not hit today, is out of the ball game, and there is a pitch outside, and it's now 3 balls and no strikes to Ulick. Now Anderson sets. Emerson, rather, and a 3-0 is over for a strike. 3-1. Emerson, the second man to work here. Relief of Brady Clare, who is now in center. 3-0. Emerson, there's a ground ball towards the middle, past the pitcher. Aylshire charges, throws it in the dirt, and it's dug out. 6-3 the play. A snazzy defensive play. And Chase Aylshire makes the play. 3 up, 3 down. We played 6, and it's 4-2 here on Prep Spotlight TV.
All summer long, you have gathered with friends, neighbors, and family at ball yards all across Minnesota.
Still going, gone, a home run.
Diamonds that decorate and help define hundreds of communities. Town Ball binds together our passion for baseball in our hometowns. And on September 11th, the cornerstone of Minnesota baseball, Target Field, will host a party for all those who play, watch, and support Town Ball. The Twins host the Royals at 6:10 p.m. Prior to the game, the newly crowned state amateur champs will be honored at the Town Ball Tavern and during a pregame ceremony. Wear your team colors and enjoy a special night at Target Field.
The 0-2 pitch. Strike 3! Fairmont, state champions in 2020.
To the Fairmont Martins. They are your 2020.
For tickets to the Twins' Tip of the Cap to Town Ball on September 11th, visit twinsbaseball.com/townball.
We're on to the 7th inning here in Waconia, and it's 8-9-1. Spots in the order due up against Roos, who has thrown 98 pitches through 6 innings, 66 strikes, and he starts off with Adams, the number 8 man, who's 0 for 2. And he starts him off with a fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. Chase Aylshire is on deck. And then Claire, the top of the order. Breaking ball is hit in the air to right field, coming over Ulick, and have to play it on a hop. It's a leadoff single in the 7th for Adams, hit number 4 for Richmond. Here's Aylshire, reached on an air and popped out. He is 0 for 2. Number 9 man in the order, and we'll see if they play for the bunt here. You're running out of outs. You've only got 9 left. If you're going to give up 1, ordinarily you don't want to be down 2 runs to do it, but the Saints are prepared for that eventuality as Lamper is in on the grass at third base. Time called. Aylshire with a nice scoop at first base to end the inning. Adams gets his lead from first. Here's a pitch, and it's outside with a fastball, 1-0. Can't see, or I can't anyway, see either bullpen from where I'm at. And obviously that makes it hard to tell certain strategic situations as a breaking pitch is dropped on the inside corner by Roos, and it's 1-1. Adams gets his lead, and a pitch off the plate and outside. It's 2-1. A little nervous time here for Dumont as their starting pitcher has worked 6 strong innings, 6+, 4 hits allowed. Behind 2-1 to the number 9 man in the order, Aylshire. And here's the pitch, swung on, and that is hit in the gap towards right center field. Kuzats over, slides, makes the catch. They got a play on the runner at first base, but the throw is up the line. And Aylshire hit it right on the screws, and a nice play by Kuzats in center field. And he makes the play, but Claire will come to the plate now, the center fielder for Richmond. He is 1 for 2, has stolen 2 bases and scored a run. Now, was that a nice grab? Center field by Pat Kuzats, and now the pitch. Breaking ball hit in the hole and in the left field for a base hit for Claire. And checking in at second base is Adams, first pitch swinging. Second hit of the inning, 5th of the day for Richmond, and the 2nd for Claire. The issue now, of course, is that Claire's not the lead runner, so Adams holds that distinction at this point. 2 on, 1 out for Thielen. The DH walked and scored, grounded to third, and was called out for interference on a steal attempt his last time up in the 5th inning. He is 0 for 2 with a run scored. Infield looking for the bunt. Here's the pitch. Strike called in the outside corner to Thielen. And Gherkin waits on deck. First and second, 1 out here in the top half of the 7th inning. And Roos trying to wiggle his way out of this one. Wide open stance for Thielen at the plate. 0-1. Fastball, threw it past him, 0-2. The drama starting to build here. Two strikes to Thielen. And the pitch up for the fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now Roos ready. Here comes the pitch. Curved him, and he managed to get a piece of it and foul it back to the screen to stay alive. 1 ball and 2 strikes, 1 gone here in the 7th. For a good crowd here on a Saturday, August afternoon in Waconia, Lions Field. As nice a field as you'll see at this level. Bruce holding still. Now it comes 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got Thielen swinging. Big out. Strikeout number 4 for Roos, and it will leave it up to Gherkin, the second baseman now. He walked, grounded to first, and flew to right. 0 for 2 with a walk today. Clare at first, Adams at second, 2 out in the top of the 7th inning. And a big at bat here for Gherkin. Now they throw to second, and getting back in is Adams. Just did manage to make it back in as they threw behind the lead runner. Now Roos ready. And the pitch to the plate. Fastball is up. 1 ball and no strikes. Primus is on deck. As Richmond takes 1 more run here in the 7th inning, they trail by 2. Hit to the outfield, should score 1 if they can manage one. Here's the pitch to Gherkin, swung on, and that's fouled back to the screen. Evens things at 1-1. Now, Roos ready. Looks in for the sign. Here's the 1-1 delivery upcoming. Breaking pitch is up and in. So Gherkin now ahead in the count, 2-1, and this has been a inning for Jordan Roos to show what he's made of. Big strikeout of Thielen to get the 2 outs. Now behind 2-1 to the number 3 man on the order, and here's the pitch, 2-1, swung on, and that's fouled back. And it's 2-2 now to Gherkin. Roos 4 strikeouts, 3 walks, and is now over 100 pitches for his day. And now he calls time, and he wants to talk to his catcher, Zach. By my book, I have him at 114 pitches now, which is an awful lot to ask of anybody. 2-2. And 115 on the way, swung on, and that's fouled back to the screen, and that holds the count at 2-2. time called now, so Adams can tie his shoelace back at second base, and now he will take care of that piece of business and then go back to the bag. 2-2. Bruce is ready, and here is the pitch. That is off the plate, and a nice stop there by Zach, who stabbed the glove out to keep it from going back to the screen. And the count is full, 3-2 to Trent Gerken. And I think Bruce put most of what he had left in the tank on that pitch. Everybody moving here on 3-2. Here's the pitch. Curveball hit in the air to right center field, and Ulick is over, has to play it on a hop. It's going to land for a base hit. Adams around third, and he scores to make it 4-3. So Trent Gerken comes through with a single to right. Driving in Adams. Clare to third. The tying run is at third base for Primus. So it is a nervous moment here, certainly for the Saints, as Richmond has pulled within one here in the top of the seventh. They have runners at the corners, 2 out for Primus, who's 0 for 3. Bruce ready, and here is the pitch. Swung on, and that's grounded towards short. Paul up with it. He goes the short way to second. That forces Gerken and retires the side. Richmond scores a run in their half of the seventh inning on 3 hits, no errors, and they leave 2. Stretch time here in Waconia. It's 4-3 Dumont here on Prep Spotlight TV.
This award is given to individuals whose work, actions, and continued promotion have brought outstanding positive recognition to amateur baseball here in Minnesota. This year's winners are Lori Golden from Milroy, Herman Lansing from Greenwald, and Herb Shaver from Newell. The Hall of Fame inductees. Minnesota Amateur Baseball Hall of Fame Board is also pleased to announce the Hall of Fame inductees for this year 2020. And they are Alvin Funk from Buckman, Joe Gross from Garland, Fred Bruce from Mankato, Louis Crockett from Plato, Steve Rader from Rolling Stone.
Bottom half of the seventh inning coming up here from Waconia for the Dumont Saints. Excuse me, 4 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors. And for Richmond Royals, 3 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. Eli Emerson on for his second inning of work now. He threw 15 pitches in the 6th inning. 8 strikes, and he'll face 9, 1, and 2 in the Dumont batting order. A 1-run ball game in the bottom of the 7th inning on a... Couldn't ask for anything better. State playoff game. Since it is stretch time, we are getting a rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Here's Montel to lead off the bottom of the 7th. He is 0 for 2. He has struck out twice. So Montel swinging in the 2nd, swinging in the 4th. 2 of 7 strikeouts for Clare were against this batter. And Emerson ready. He works. Fastball right through there for a strike. So Emerson retired all 3 batters he faced in the 6th inning. And we'll try to do it again here in the 7th. Inside, jackknifed him away from the plate, and Montel backed away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
But the desire not to get pretty good.
Now the 1-1 coming. Out in front, pulled the string on him, and Montel well in front of that pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Emerson ready. works out of the stretch. And here's the 1-2 fastball, and that is hit on a line to left field. It's going to drop for a base hit in front of Adams, and Carson Model starts the bottom of the 7th with a base hit for the Saints. That is hit number 7 for Dumont, and it'll flip the order, and here's Paul. Paul is 1 for 3, doubled to left center to start the game. Struck out looking, struck out swinging. It was 1 for 3, and Model will get his lead from first base. Now Emerson comes set. A bunt, now a throw to first base. And diving back in there was Model. The pitch was a strike called. So Paul behind 1 strike here. Start of the 4th trip through the order for the Dumont Saints. Squares the bunt and taps it at the plate, foul. So it's 2 strikes now to Paul. We'll see if they keep the bunt on here with the 2-strike count. They would like nothing better than to move this runner. Model with a good lead at first base. Draws Emerson's attention. Here comes the 0-2. Swung on a jam shot on the infield. And Schmitz, the catcher, makes the play. Hardly had to get out of his stance. And Paul is retired on a foul out to the catcher for the first out in the bottom of the 7th inning. And that will bring up Roos, the pitcher. Singled and scored, walked and stole second, and then grounded back to the pitcher. He is 1 for 2 with a run scored and an RBI.
The pitcher, Dumont Saints, number 22, Jordan Roos.
So there is more than one way to advance a base runner, but we'll see if Roos can do it here. He's been pretty lively all throughout, and of course he's thrown well over 100 pitches as the pitcher for Dumont, and here's the pitch to him, and he takes a breaking ball over for a strike. Nice pitch from Emerson there. Thielen is on deck. Now Emerson will come set. And here's the pitch. Inside, and Roos thought it hit him. And now the umpires are going to talk it over. Roos thought he was hit by that pitch, and he was starting towards first base. And yes, he was hit by the pitch. Would have clipped his shirt, and now Blaine Appman comes out for Richmond to have a discussion with the home plate umpire. And Mono will take second on the hit pass. When first and second, 1 out. Well, I mentioned there was more than one way to advance a base runner. Well, there it is. Roos is hit by a pitch. But had to clip his shirt. It certainly didn't appear to have hurt him to any great extent, as Appman pleads his case, and now discussion is becoming more prolonged with the plate umpire, but he's smiling. Appman is not, and he heads back to the dugout. He slams his helmet, as a matter of fact. And here is Thielen, the second baseman, who is 1 for 3, doubled his last time up and scored in the 5th inning. He's got first and second and 1 out here in the bottom half of the 7th. Emerson ready. Fastball is hit high in the air. That's an infield fly. And it'll be Logan Aylshire will make the catch, but the batter is out anyway. And Thielen pops to short. And that'll leave it up to Kusatz, the center fielder, who was 2 for 3, singled in 2 runs in the 1st and the 5th inning, and grounded out in the 3rd. 2 for 3 and a big run out there at second base for him.
third out here.
Now Emerson comes set, and here's his pitch. Fastball away. 1 ball and no strikes here in the 7th inning. No strikeouts or walks for Emerson. So far, just a 1-hit batsman. He's now ready. Comes the 1-0. Fastball late, and he threw it past him. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bestland is on deck. If Cousats is able to reach for Dumont here in the bottom half of the 7th inning as they hold a 4-3 lead that certainly looks precarious. We'll see if it stays that way. 1-1. Swung on and fouled away on the third base side. That'll get out of play. And it's a ball and 2 strikes now to Cousats, who made a nice catch in center field in the top half of the inning, a sliding grab. Emerson ready. Here's a 1-2. Swing and a miss. He retires. Cousats on strikes. First strikeout for Emerson, and Dumont is turned away here in the 7th inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. We go to the 8th, and it's a 4-3 score.
Here is Dumont for Richmond 3. Ladies and gentlemen, MBA Max Back. And that video play is brought to you by Max Back.
Have you seen it go like this? You don't even.
On to inning number 8 here in Waconia, Lions Field, and Jordan Roos goes back out to the mound. Certainly doesn't need much to get loose, I would expect. 119 pitches through 7 innings for Jordan Roos, 80 strikes.
For Richmond, leading off the top of the 8th inning.
5, 6, and 7 due up. Cole Schmitz, the catcher, will lead off. Schmitz is 1 for 3, singled his 2nd time up in the 3rd inning. Roos ready, and here is the first pitch. Fastball is low. 1 ball and no strikes. Logan Aylshire and Cameron Miller are due up. Winner of this game will play Loretto and Chaska. Round ball to short. Paul to his left has it, throws on to first in time to retire Schmitz. 1 out in the 8th, and here's Logan Aylshire, who singled to center, flew to center, and struck out. 1 for 3, and he has driven in a run. Loretto Larks await the winner of this game next Friday, 7:30 in Chaska. The game will be played. Roos ready. Now the pitch. Fastball in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. He scored 5 runs between them in the 1st inning. And only 2 runs since. Single run on the 5th for Dumont. And here's a pitch fouled back to the screen, and of course a single run in the 7th inning for Richmond. 1 ball and 1 strike to Aylshire. 4 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for Dumont. 3 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error for Richmond. Richmond has also stranded 7 runners today. It's been a good one here. this afternoon. Had a little bit of everything. We've had interference on a catcher, a couple of deflected putouts, stolen bases, a little controversy. Here's the 1-1. Swung on, and that's hit on the third base side foul. Lamper over for a look, but he'll watch it hit the roof with some dramatic effect. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now the 1-2. Pulled the string on him and he fouled it off his foot. And off balance there. Elshire fell at the plate, and I think it looked worse than it probably was there. One and 2. Elshire none the worse for wear. First baseman Deal guarding the line on the first base side. And now time called at the plate. That'll force Roos to reset. Now ready, and here is the 1-2. That's off the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Roos ready, the big, tall, bearded right-hander ready, and here is the 2-2 delivery. Swung on, and that's fouled back to the screen. Just wasting pitches now. And Elshire fighting him hard, and that's, when you're that high in the pitch count, that's everything you can do to take pitches off that pitcher. Raise that count. 2-2. Breaking ball. That is a beautiful pitch, and he was walking off the mound, and it's called high for ball 3. That was a terrific looking slider. Broke over the plate and was called high. Here's the 3-2 to Aylshire. Fastball fouled at the plate, and Zach couldn't hold it, so the count stays at 3-2. Now, Roos is ready, and we'll try again on 3-2. Fastball got him swinging, and Aylshire goes down. A strikeout victim for the second time, 5th strikeout for Roos, and it'll leave it up to Miller with 2 outs in the 8th inning. Cameron Miller is 0 for 3, grounded to second, and grounded to short. Roos ready, and here is his pitch. Starts him with a fastball, and that one's fouled away with the third base side. Dusty Adams on deck if Miller can keep things going. And again, a very nice crowd here today for this pair of tournament games in the evening. 2 earlier today as well. There's the 0-1, and that is that's inside, excuse me. 1 ball and 1 strike. Roos ready, working quickly. Here comes the 1-1. A strike as that caught the inside corner, 1-2. Now Roos ready, here's the 1-2. Slow curve hitting the air to left center field. Husat's on his horse, and he won't get it. And now digging for second is Miller, a huge turn, and then he turns and goes back to first. Cameron Miller with a 2-out hit in the 8th, and here's Adams. And Adams on the day is 1 for 3, and he scored the run in the 7th inning, started it off with a base hit to right field. So Adams is 1 for 3. So Roos again dealing with a base runner here in the 8th inning, 7th hit now. Teams each with 7 hits. Strike called. Aylshire is on deck. Now a throw over to first base, and the runner gets back. Bruce comes set. And the pitch. Swung on, and that's hitting the air to left. Model started back, now comes in, and he makes the catch to retire the side. As Adams flies to left, no runs, one hit, and one left, 7.5. It is 4-3 Dumont here on Prep Spotlight TV.
Town ball tour. Head to the small towns and tell people what it's all about.
A lot of excitement. Weather is fantastic.
This place has been here since the early 80s.
This is a baseball town.
The town is here. The kids are here. It's safe. It's a wonderful environment.
We certainly met some wonderful characters.
Thanks for joining us for another season of Fox 9's Town Ball Tour.
We go to the bottom of the 8th here at Lions Field in Waconia. Lovely day, lovely ballpark, and now you see the plate going into shadow. Pitcher is still coming out of the sun, going into shade here. Third inning of work for Emerson. 1 strikeout, no walks, and 1 hit. Through 2 innings of work, he will face 5, 6, and 7 in the Dumont order. Looking ahead to the 9th for Richmond, it'll be 9, 1, and 2. So Aylshire will lead off, but then Clare will get another shot, who has been a major thorn in the side of the Dumont Saints today. We were due to start our second game at 7 o'clock. It's probably going to be closer to 8 before we get going there. The Luxembourg Brewers and the St. Benedict Saints. Will do battle. Here's Trent Besland to lead off for Dumont. Besland is 0 for 3, fielder's choice, and 2 ground outs to third base. Emerson ready. And his pitch. Swung on and hit in the air to right. Actually not going to get that far as Girton is over to make the catch at second base. And Besland retired, 1 pitch, 1 out. Here's Deal, the catcher. 1 for 3, singled in the first inning, which was ancient history. Now Emerson ready, and here he comes. Swing and a miss, flat-footed there from Deal. And it's strike 1. Zach is on deck. Now Emerson ready, and here is the pitch, and he is on the outside corner. The breaking ball 0-2. Emerson quickly up on the Dumont first baseman. Here's the pitch, 0-2, inside. Backs Deal off, 1-2. Deal ready, and they have him played over towards left center field. Not playing him to pull. 1-2. Breaking pitch got him looking. And that is strikeout number 2 for Emerson. 9th strikeout of the day for Richmond pitching, and that'll leave the 8th inning up to Paul Zach, who is 0 for 3. Grounded to third, flew to center, grounded to second. Emerson sets and works, and that pitch is inside for ball 1. Jake Ulick is on deck. Should Zach be able to reach? And again, it's 9-1-2 due to the plate in the 9th inning for Richmond. 1-0 is low. in the dirt. 2 balls and no strikes. 9 strikeouts and only 1 walk today for Richmond pitching. They do have a hit batsman. They've done a nice job not giving up the free bases anyway. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Zach taking all the way, and he takes a fastball over for strike 1. 2-1. Emerson working quickly. Comes set, and here's the 2-1 delivery. Breaking pitch is hit in the air on the infield on the right side. And the pitcher, Emerson, gives way finally to Chase Aylshire, who makes the catch. And the Saints are retired in order in the 8th. 1-2-3-0 across. We go to the 9th, and it is Dumont 4, Richmond 3 here on Prep Spotlight TV.
Pitcher and the center fielder
all
switch
summer
positions.
long, you have gathered with friends, neighbors, and family at ball yards all across Minnesota.
Still going, gone, a home run.
Diamonds that decorate and help define hundreds of communities. Town Ball binds together our passion for baseball in our hometowns. And on September 11th, the cornerstone of Minnesota baseball, Target Field, will host a party for all those who play, watch, and support Town Ball. The Twins host the Royals at 6:10 p.m. Prior to the game, the newly crowned state amateur champs will be honored at the Town Ball Tavern and during a pregame ceremony. Wear your team colors and enjoy a special night at Target Field.
The 0-2 pitch. Strike 3! Fairmont, state champions in 2020.
To the Fairmont Martins. They are your 2020.
For tickets to the Twins' Tip of the Cap to Town Ball on September 11th, visit twinsbaseball.com/townball.
On to the 9th. Pretty simple situation here. Richmond trails 4-3. They send 9, 1, and 2 to the plate against Jordan Roos, who has gone the whole way. Roos, 135 pitches, according to my book, 91 strikes. He has struck out 5, and he has walked 3. And we'll start off with Chase Aylshire, who is 0 for 3. Reached on an error. Popped to short, lined out to center. Miller will play at the edge of the grass on the third base side. And, Lamper will, and Deal is guarding the line at first. Roos ready. Starts him with a breaking pitch that is called outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Clare on deck, and he makes his Richmond team go, certainly. Now here is the 1-0. Grounded in the hole to short. Paul was right. Nice play. Long throw. Got him. What a play. Oh, a terrific play in the hole by James Paul. And he robs Aylshire a base hit. He put it right on the money to first base. Aylshire retired for the first out in the 9th. And here's Clare, who is 2 for 3 with a walk, 2 stolen bases, and has scored a run. Here's the pitch. A breaking ball, a little bit outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Thielen is on deck. Now the 1-0. Swing and a miss, a little bit late on the fastball there. And Clare swung and missed, 1-1. Now Roos ready, works, fastball, that's hit to Paul at short. Gobbles it up, throws on to first, 2 up, 2 down in the 9th inning, and Clare is retired. And that'll leave it up to Dalton Thielen, the designated hitter. walked and scored in the first, bounced to third, called out an interference, and struck out. 0 for 3 with the run scored, excuse me. And one more out to get here for the Dumont Saints. 140 pitches for Jordan Roos, and here is the pitch, swung on and fouled straight back for strike one to Dalton Thielen. Swung on and that's tapped, foul at the plate, so he's ahead. No balls and 2 strikes now, and pitching on both fumes and adrenaline at this point. Jordan Roos is 1 strike away from moving his team on. Now looks in. And here is the 0-2 delivery. Swung on and hit in the air to right center field. Kusat's over, Ulick over. The second baseman, Thielen, makes the catch. The second baseman, I should say. Yes, Thielen makes the catch, and that retires Dalton Thielen and ends the game. And the Dumont Saints advance. They go on to win it here by a score of 4 to 3. Dumont 4 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors. They leave 6 on base. Richmond 3 runs, 7 hits, 1 error. And they left 8 on base. The winning pitcher, Jordan Roos. What a job by Jordan Roos. 9 innings, 143 pitches on the day. He struck out 5, he walked 3, he allowed 3 runs, all earned, and 7 hits. As he goes the distance, the losing pitcher is Brady Clare for Richmond. 5 innings, 4 earned runs, 6 hits, 7 strikeouts, and a walk. Eli Emerson pitched the last 3 innings.
All right, we're here with the play of the game. Jordan Roos,
and he allowed no runs and only 1 hit, and that time struck out 2 and walked none. Time of the game, 2 hours and 25 minutes here from beautiful Lions Field in Waconia. Slap my face as Dumont goes on to face Loretto next Friday night in Chaska. We'll have that game for you here on Prep Spotlight TV. 4-3, the final score. Dumont moves on, and they defeat the Richmond Royals. Jeff Pappas saying so long. We'll see in about 45 minutes, I reckon, for the second game. Luxembourg takes on St. Benedict next year on Prep Spotlight TV.
Amateur baseball is one of Minnesota's great sporting traditions. The state tournament brings together hundreds of communities in late summer at great ballparks all around the state. Coverage of every game can be found on PrepSpotlight.tv. PrepSpotlight.tv's coverage of today's state tournament game is made possible by the Minnesota Baseball Association, and also with help from the Minnesota Twins. Celebrate Townball with the Twins on September 11th. Visit twinsbaseball.com/townball for details. Now let's get to the ballpark.